welcome back to CrestVahllen D&D, the Baker's Dozen. I'm your not-so-humble Dungeon Master, TJ, and I have the distinct pleasure to be joined at this virtual table by... we're going to go with Sean first.
Hello, I'm Sean. I play Tamron Grounder, a dragonborn sorcerer. And I may not be prepared, but at Yeast, I didn't come up with another shitty bread pun.
Oh my god! I'm upset. I'm physically ill.
I just like
Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone. See myself out.
Great. And then we are also joined by the wonderful Angela.
Hey guys, I play Nakano, a tiefling rogue. I can dodge anything, you name it. Pens, pickles, thumbtacks.
What?
Thumbtack.
Love the pickles. Just imagining like a storm of pickles coming your way, and you're fine.
Oh,
It's
Pickle
like,
Storm.
I was about to say it's not Bone
It's not
Storm.
Bone Storm
It's
anymore.
Pickle Storm now.
Pickle Storm.
Like, yeah, this guy killed us with a bunch of pickles. Oh man. Okay. And also the incorrigible Cameron.
I'm not ready for this. I play a scoop cleric at the Tempest. It may be shocking, but those bread jokes are funnier than your jokes.
I don't get it.
I'm ashamed.
Shame. I mean, we laughed. So, the Angela's like, no, death. Great. And last but not least, the wonderful, the beautiful Noelle.
I am Noelle. I play today Mission the Ankmut, and I've been the Kenran Ranger / fighter, and I've been going through these tax law books, and I just wanted to give everybody a PSA. Remember, tomorrow in the United States is tax day, so get your taxes in.
How dare you? How dare you bring taxes into this game?
I had to look at the tax law book. What did you want from me?
I understand, but how dare you? Well, this is supposed to be a collective hallucination, and you brought real life into it. That's so sad.
You're the one who brought Lamb Chop into this world.
That's true, but lamb chop's fun. Taxes are not fun.
No, but then tax law, yeah.
Tax law is so much fun. Oh my god! Sometimes when I have free time, I just sit down with a tax law book and I just have a blast.
Curl up by the fire with a nice cup of cocoa and tax law book.
Right.
Cup of cocoa and a tax law book. Yes, indeed. Great. Well, I don't believe we have any announcements this day, this year of our Lord 2022. So on this day,
he is risen.
He is risen.
Right is risen.
Zombie Jesus Day.
There you go.
Yeah, happy Easter, everybody. It's Zombie Jesus Day, or Happy Pagan Spring Rite Day, or whatever you want to call it. Rite of Spring. Great. I don't have any announcements, so you guys want to play some D&D?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So we're going to do this little recap of the last session that we did. Let me just pull it up. Let me pause the music, and we'll put on some other music. Okay, and just give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can hear it. Great. Awesome. Okay, so the Baker's Dozen watch as Autumn Breeze's skull disintegrates in Scoop's hands after learning more about those who may have been affiliated with forces previously veiled in mystery. Messages are sent to Nakano's childhood friend, Honoria, a winged female elf, who is ecstatic to learn that Nakano is alive. Honoria is located somewhere known as the New Spheris and hopes to see Nakano sometime in the future. The party then evaluates what they know about the primordials before they begin gathering testimonials in preparation for the much-anticipated day in court. The crew/survivors, Fenmi, Captain Yukari, and Korsh are all interviewed with varying success, the latter being an intimidating display of Nakano's prowess with interrogation, bringing even the savage himself to tears. With conspiracy theories abound, the gang ponder their next move. The gang then decide to throw a rustic dinner party before their inevitable departure, complete with hunted dough and many casks of swill and wine. Hurt and Pebbles get into a drunken bout when the Zushi explains that the throuple appears to be going well. Tammy expresses his concerns and suspicions over the slave blossoms, the dynast, and the Vodomo, as well as the belief that Fruth Lovud was a plant by one of these powerful stations. The group designs to find a legal mind in Namung the next time that they are present in the city. A little tipsy, and before bedding down to rest, the group designed to investigate the locations that Carver and the Bird Poop designated of interest, and with the possible ties to the Eldritch Idols. The party then set their sights for the Bagaket Archipelago and rest, awakening on the 20th of Hylock with enhanced understanding, experience, and vigor for the days ahead. Welcome back to CrestVahllen. All right. So, that being said, you guys wake up on the 20th, renewed, enhanced with your self-retrospect and this due reflection on what has had transpired since you've been together as a group, and you've had this month to kind of like coalesce on your experiences, and you are level 7. Machene has taken the level in Fighter. I imagine that you have taken some time to train with Pebble themselves, as well as your bouts and perambulations with Nakano out in the wilds have caused you to become like the technique you got from Pebbles and the more mechanical other bits you got from just being like, oh, okay, cool. Granted, you're a nature ranger person anyway, but you get it. Yeah. But Nakano teaches you how to use it. Like, yeah, you can totally use this like big old sword. And then Nakano, like, she picks up like a great sword that's like an old great sword that's like above the mantle, and realizes that she probably can't lift it as well as she thought. And then Pebbles goes like, it's not about you brute forcing it. It's about using leverage to lift it and turn it. And he does these like figure eights with it. He's like, and you guys are like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, you learn how to use martial weapons. He also teaches you, with the aid of Phoenix, the times when he meditates for a moment and just inhales, exhales, and you see him like himself reinvigorate himself, and you find to do the same way with the aid of some of your other simic abilities to, in the midst of battle, just a moment, quickly regain and heal some of your wounds, or at least give yourself a second wind, as it were.
Very cool.
Great. You picked archery as your fighting style?
Yes.
Great. So yes.
I now have 2 fighting styles, 1 defense and 1 archery.
Great. Yeah. So that archery is definitely something you learned while hunting out with Nakano. You became better at like calling your shot and just hitting it right where it needs to go.
Yeah. I think with my mentor, I'm finally like, fine, you're right. The arrow is probably a better weapon. Okay.
The chakram is still very sentimental, of course, but yeah.
Yeah.
And they're viable. They're still quite viable. But it might behoove you to try to find a way to enhance them if there any way. The balancing is pretty great, but I mean, you guys are starting to get up to where like, magical items are starting to be a thing. So might be worth trying to find somebody who's willing to do something like that. Great. all that said and done, you wake on the 20th. The day is yours. What would you like to do?
We still have to hire a major domo, right?
That's correct.
TJ, I'm echoing through your... Oh, not anymore.
You're right.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I
I'll
heard
turn
me
this
too.
off. Yep, there we go. Now you shouldn't be. So I just I forgot to unclick it.
We gotta hire a major domo. We should just bang that out real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. So that way we can do that. Right, and
Also,
we're gonna
what
get
it
a
is-
lawyer later.
Is your intention with Jin Fushi? Is she free to come and go as she pleases within this establishment, within
Of
your
course.
manor? Seeing it as it
Yeah.
was like her house before.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Isn't she with the Zushi though? So
Yeah, but she can still,
It's like you're
Yeah.
dating, but you still have your own places.
yeah.
Okay.
What's today's date again?
Today is the 20th of Hylach.
How do you spell Hylock?
Hielach. It is like autumn winter. It's like the very, very dregs the end of autumn that's going into winter now. So the sea air has a bitter chill upon it. Granted, you are technically in not necessarily the tropics, but kind of that area, so it's not as bad as it would be further inland. What did you say, Noel?
Subtropics?
Yeah, it's
then?
kind of subtropics, kind of not. It's a little bit, the climate here is a little complicated. But the more you get into like between the northern and southern dynasty is more like a band of tropics. Like Shilong is tropics. The like Saivesh is subtropics moving into something else.
Cool. So did we put out an advertisement? We kind of did, right?
I mean, I told the guy to walk around with a billboard on his chest, but it looks like he didn't do a very good job because I think yep, there's the billboard. It's on the street there.
Well, maybe the billboard attracted some people.
Yeah. So, are you guys looking to just hire somebody off the street? Is that the intent here?
Well, I mean, they got to have a resume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't just hire anybody.
Great. Okay. Let's see what happens here then.
So we set up an interview table.
Set up an interview table and you wait for people to arrive. Okay. There is a line about 25 people long that shows up.
Oof. Oh boy. Can we just sift through the resumes before we interview anybody?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can gander at a couple. There's a couple people that here. There's 2 or 3 of them that don't have shoes. There are. I'm just explaining what you see here. There's one individual that looks like they're trying to put on an air of nobility. A bunch of other people, and the rest look as though they are like middle-class halflings, tieflings, and humans that are, or lower middle class, trying to get a job and make more money. And they said that they said like a manor was hiring, and they're like, oh shit, that's a lot of money. I'll try to interview that job. As far as that is concerned, this is all you can tell by their attire. Granted, that's not a whole lot that you can tell. You also see that Jin Fushi's in the line.
Jin, are you looking for a job?
Well, I thought I'd be since a work from home kind of deal, but definitely could. Well, when I was a ward, I had like a stipend, like to like an allowance to take care of myself and take care of things, and that's not really things have changed. They're not really awards, so I have to start earning my own keep. I have to start so I thought work from home. Why not?
Yeah. Do you have any experience doing this kind of work?
I mean, well, I kept the place running when Autumn Breeze wasn't here. I'll wait my turn. I'm like near the back of the line.
Well, let's see. Let's gather all the resumes and kind of sift through them.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So you gather a bunch of resumes. You can tell that more than half of these resumes are people that just have that are illiterate. So they don't have. So they don't because
That's gonna be tough
literacy
with
is
this
not.
job,
Yeah.
right?
So that's the thing. Literacy is not. You see the other half. There's like so the other half. So a quarter of them just have the word resume put on a piece of paper, and then because they thought like, oh, okay, you just want me to write the word resume to prove that I can write. This is my handwriting. The word resume. This is my resume. You see a bunch. There's about like a quarter of those people, about 25% of the entire line, are like, oh, I get it. I get what you're asking for. And they give you like kind of a cover letter of sorts. They'll be like, hey, worked as a blacksmith in training for a couple years. Did had some experience busking on the street for a little bit. Tried my hand at being an acolyte, didn't work out. Looking for a fresh start. And other people are like, if you need some heads to knocked together, I'm your guy. I worked in as a bouncer for a couple years. I had a disagreement with we had I guess some creative differences with the owner, so I'm looking to expand my horizons. And then there's a couple other more. There's one in particular that's that says, I like the bang bang, pull it once, yes. I like the bang bang, pull it twice, no.
I'd like
And
to interview that person, please.
great. You walk up to this it's kind of like mauve colored tiefling that is of an ambiguous gender that sits down at the table. Says, so I heard you got the bing bang, yeah?
I would like to just know what that means. I'd just like a little clarification.
Well, the bing bang, bread, sugar, butter,
Bang.
cake, dash.
Oh, money.
Oh, I
Money.
understand. So wait, so what did it say again, the resume?
I like the bang bang pull up once, no. Yes. I like the bang bang pull up twice, no.
Okay. I think there might be like a language barrier here that might be difficult to overcome. I'm not sure I'm understanding with your words.
Oh, like you pay me once, that's great. If you try to then I pay you because that's two payments because taxes, because tax is a theft and government is evil. No.
Okay, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Taxation is theft. Goodbye.
What?
Yeah, probably not our most well-qualified candidate. I think.
Yeah.
Well,
I shouldn't
no.
really
That was-
understand.
One of the others that stand out to you is one that tries to give off an air of nobility. They actually are wearing a partially tattered, powdered wig. As a human individual, it kind of looks as to what Raisin Toman would look if he fell on hard times and he was a human. He hasn't had there's runs in his stockings and a couple other things. He is a human. It's hard to tell how old he is because of how much arsenic makeup he's wearing. So that's up to you. He was one of the other ones of being like, oh yeah, I was I used to be in the a service industry. For the late blah 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 the late Lord whatever. I used to prepare his bedding for the evening. But when he died, we all kind of were out of work. So, and he's more of an elderly gentleman. He is looks like to be in his like early 70s, late 60s.
This is an interview, so can I roll a lying insight?
Yes, you can roll an insight. What are you going to interview him?
No, I'm just seeing what he says to Tamron, pretty much.
Okay,
Oh,
well, you have to sit him down first.
It's not that was it for some reason.
Is his resume actually okay, or is it just say the word?
I mean, like I said, he used to work for a late lord, and his like specialty was doing that thing, where you put coals in that pan dish that you put in the covers, so that the covers are warm. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a pan that looks like a cake pan, and it has a lid and it has a big lug handle, and you shovel coals into the cake pan and you close the lid, and then you put the lid under the covers and it warms the bed so that when you pop in, your feet get warm and everything else gets warm. And his like specialty was like turning down the beds and like making sure the bed was warm, and that like and like telling bedtime stories to his lord to help him go to sleep. And then when the lord died, they were all out of work, so he was out of work too.
I see. He might be good to hire later if we're like trying to set up the bread and breakfast thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that is.
So you give him the old line of "We'll keep your resume on file."
Yeah, well, but actually though, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he just doesn't have. Sorry, go ahead.
No. What were you saying?
I mean, he just doesn't have any skills with like just ledgers and things like that, which is, I think, part of being a major domo. So.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody here have any experience with like any of the resumes have any like bookkeeping experience?
So, like I said, very few of them are actually literate, and those that are literate don't entirely understand that because, granted, like lower middle class people, especially in this type of society, like only the upper class are really like exceedingly literate, and nobody in the upper class is applying for a major domo job. Honestly, you can all roll an insight check, and we'll see what's going on. This is session 29, correct? Whoops.
Yep.
Whoops. Whoops. Here we go. Okay, what'd you get? Go ahead.
Dirty 20.
Dirty
11.
20. 11. Okay.
10.
10.
15.
15. Okay. Nikana, you get the sense that, although you guys are literate and you can read and you can write, that has to do more with your perspective and experiences throughout the world. Most people, at least in this city or in this area, in this society, aren't as literate. Doing bookkeeping and ledger keeping is a pretty refined skill set. You imagine that probably no one here that is applying has that skill set. However, Tamron, you realize that that Jin might be somebody who might have that skill set, only because she has dealt with this manner for a number of years. She's had to do things like that for a long time, and she's pretty much had to be in charge of the staff when Autumn Breeze isn't there all the time. So it's like she's already been doing this job. But she was a ward, so she wasn't allowed to work.
I see. Okay. I mean, it seems like she's kind of the only choice.
Yeah.
But it would be good to have somebody we know and trust.
Granted, this is just like a couple days of applicants. If you want to wait and see if there are more people, you can. But
no, we gotta go.
Yeah,
We got adventures.
yeah, maybe she could at least serve for a while, and if things work out with who, then maybe we'll find a replacement for her at that point in time too.
Mhm.
Right? Cool.
Are you even going to interview her, or are you just going to give her the job?
I mean, we should probably fair
Yeah, just
business practices, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So she'll sit down at the table. She'll be like, "So, what do I have to? What do I gotta say? What do you want me to say?"
But what would be your first order of business if we appointed you major domo?
Oh well, first of all, we got to figure out like where we're going to be getting the money, as far as and some sort of estate planning, as far as a trust for the manor, because we have to be able to pay all of the people that are here. So I don't know what type of money that you have invested in it, or if there is a sort of fund, like some sort of trust fund for the manor, but we have to establish that. Like, that's the very first thing we have to do, because we can't do anything without money. And then once that is established and we figure out a way where that gets replenished in some sort of way, like whether that be some sort of tie to the Zushi, as far as money that has been, well, for example, Autumn Breeze, he has to have a whole old business, but is since retired, and used to have sponsors from around, from his travels, and whatnot. So I'm not sure if those contacts are still intact. And I'd be a little hesitant to try to reestablish connections with them. But if I had to guess, he did a lot of things under the table and behind closed doors that may or may not have been above board, which caused him to gather quite the fortune. Granted, now that he is dead and he has no inheritors, most of that fortune, if not all of it, just gets defaulted to the Zushi himself. So I believe our first order of business might be to petition the Zushi, to use if not a portion of that as a starting capital, to then somehow invest in one of our own business so we can make money legitimately.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we did get the stipend already from the Zushi as
correct.
So
but that's going to go fast. We're talking about paying everybody like once a month, and everybody gets to pay. I mean, think about how many people that are living here now, with all the crew and the refugees and the survivors. I mean, the amount of money that we're going to spend on purely food, wine, water, like all this stuff, it's going to go extremely fast. All that money's going to go. And then you have to pay all the staff to prepare all that, clean everybody, make sure everything's manors are expensive.
Of course. I was just saying, I don't know if the Zushi is going to give us another stipend, even though he got it from, Autumn Breeze's estate, because technically he kind of already gave us something.
That's true. All. That's true. It's more of, it's very true. That's a valid point. If we were going to go about petitioning it, our argument would be to release the funds that were technically meant for this manor to begin with. Granted, the Zushi, if he has any inklings as to how the manner in which these funds were allocated or collected, which probably were, like I said, illegitimate, we may have problems with that. But it could be a start to some full capital, or we could just go clean slate, full above board, and we could invest our own money in it, and we could start our own business, and then we just have to decide what it is we want to invest our money in. And I
like that second idea.
Yeah, let's.
Great. I mean, starting capital is expensive, so
we have a stipend that we were given.
Right. How much do we have left of that, by the way?
What is this that we spent? Bread and breakfast party fund set up for estate. What is that in our book?
Fix the manor.
It's to fix the manor, so it's not all in shambles.
Oh, okay.
Like fix all the rooms, fix the tiling and the roofing and everything. Right. Ryzen told me I had a bunch of contractors come in here and fix everything, and they got a really good deal.
So we still have 175 gold left which isn't a ton. But
yeah, that's definitely not enough to start at capital.
yeah.
So we're most likely, if you want to go full legitimate with it, we will have to invest our own money. I have pocket change for buying sweets every once in a while when I go to the market. I don't really have much to offer here.
Right.
I don't know if you found any other monies that weren't reported to the Zushi or anything like that. Or?
Well, yeah, we got some money from tips when we were working at Violence in Vindaloo for a little while. That could help too.
All right.
Basically, what we thought would be like a good business plan would be to kind of start a bed and breakfast here at the estate.
Oh, that's valid. Have the staff pretty much work to pay themselves.
Yeah, and
that's
the staff
extremely
could
sustainable.
be people. The staff could be some other refugees, perhaps.
All right, and then anybody that
Give
could
them
come to
jobs,
the bread.
okay?
Yeah, if they want it, right? It's if they want to do something else and find some other safe place, then it's there for them to keep in mind.
Live like the other half do. Come to bed and breakfast or whatever, because we can give those that can afford it a way to like some days to live in a manor. I get it. It's like a getaway, but that's not too far away.
Yeah.
Right, but you said it wrong. It's bread and
breakfast. Yeah.
Yes.
Bread. I understand the pun. I get it. Nice.
Yeah. No.
Wonderful.
We're a punny group.
Great. Okay. I mean, yeah, we could totally do that. Granted, it's extremely unorthodox because we'd essentially just be running an inn / tavern, but it would be the size of our manor. I would recommend that if we do that, things are going to get messy. So I would recommend that we sequester, maybe we have just a single wing that's for the bread and breakfast, and we have another wing that's private.
For sure.
Yeah, and I believe we should keep the kitchen and the horse stable on the west wing should be private, and the right and the east wing should be more of a thing. And that way we can have the chapel that's built into the manor as part of the public space.
Okay.
That sounds good. This is going to take a lot of time to set up. Granted, we did a lot of the work already with repairs. I believe the thing that's going to be most difficult to set up is going to be how much do we want to scream our clientele? Because granted, if somebody just comes up off the street and they've got a couple gold that they stole from somebody, they could come in and just trash the place and then leave. Or do we want to just
screen people?
Oh, yeah, then we just don't screen people. If they have the money, you show up and we give them everything that they have. Everything that is that they can pay for it, then we
I think
afford them the services.
It's a safe harbor, and it's basically check your arms at the door. It's
gotcha.
It's
okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was more like we're doing like up class establishment kind of thing. Okay, I understand. So safe harbor. So which means if we're trying to be more accessible, our rates are going to have to be lower than what I was expecting, which is fine. It just means that it's going to take us, we might incur debt to begin with. And then it might, until we get really popular, where are we actually going to be turning a profit?
Right.
So we may have to take out a loan.
Also, is there such a thing as insurance in this world, in this town? I mean,
I understand. Right, insurance. That would be, you know what? The person that I would talk to about that would probably be Bicam. Her late husband was really into laws and tax laws and finance and that whole thing. That's the person I would talk to. I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, Alden Breeze actually did take an insurance policy out on me, should anything happen to me as his ward, to cover all of my funeral expenses and any emotional distress that may have happened from his ward being also seeing as I was a ward, there was also a plan in place to replace me with another ward of equal or greater value. That would still give him the same amount of political leanings and advantages, because you understand the reason why a ward is put into place is like a deterrent. Like, hey, it's a nice way of saying hostage. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's consensual, but often it's not. Like within the case with Autumn Breeze and I, you may call it Stockholm syndrome, but I kind of grew to really like him. Granted, I was a very young age. I wasn't really. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yes, we can get to work on that. What kind of so this is one question I'm going to ask you as a DM there. What kind of rates do you want to do? You want to as far as the pricing, are you trying to put it in low pricing, or are you going to be earning like nothing more than silver per guest? Are you planning to put like medium pricing, which is about like a gold per stay, per night, per person?
Well, I think that we could maybe go a little bit higher end, because I think what people were trying to benefit are the refugees, right?
Right.
Not necessarily people who stay there.
Right. I mean, it still could be like special circumstances or something, like actual refugees. We might do a different rate for them, right? But like, yeah. Otherwise, maybe it's something where it's like we do a gold, and anything above that is a tax write-off for those patrons that stay there, so that it's tax deductible, and that because it's a non-profit, and so then
look at Miss Shenny reading those tax law books.
I know.
Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad idea.
They've been really great reads at night, but maybe that's a way that we can do.
Yeah, that's something you can absolutely do. You can also do a tiered system, like you can make some of the rooms suites where they cost a lot more, and some of the rooms more basic where there's actually more than one patron per room. You can absolutely do that stuff. Yeah, if you want to do like a tiered system, we can. I actually have a system in place that I built for this. If you decided to go this route, essentially, at the end of every week, whether you are traveling or not, someone's going to roll a D100. And depending on how well you roll, pardon me, well, first you're going to roll D20 against what like circumstances that I have. And if you roll well the D100, you roll well on the D20, you roll a D100. And depending on what you roll on the D100 is how much money your business makes or loses for that week. And we can, if it ends up being too taxing that we do it every week, we can do it every month. But granted, we have often been on a session been on the same day for like multiple sessions, so I doubt it's going to be that much of an issue. So we can so we can absolutely do that. I will say, depending on how you want to do the pricings, will depend on the rate at which people book and how much money you're making per person, which is like passive calculations that I'm doing on my side. Yes, you can absolutely give the refugees work to work as staff. Pretty much the crew that's here is only staying here long enough to get back on their feet and then finding more work. Like just not the officers. The officers have to stay here because they have made an agreement with you to do their testimony and like stay safe and under the cover. However, the crew, they either have to go find work or they're going to starve, or they're refugees to you as well, and you have to pay to feed and house them as well. The crew is happy to go off and find other jobs, like to go find another ship to work on. Granted, that is another opportunity that, like, if anybody knew exactly where they were from and found out a bunch of information, it's a risk that you take as well. Granted, so you have to make a decision about whether you're going to incur a debt for taking care of them or let them go work themselves.
Well, like we said, I mean, this place needs staff, right? I mean,
yes, but that's a lot of staff. That is a lot of staff. I figured, again,
most of them probably would go off and do their own thing anyway, right?
Correct. Yes. As far as the core individuals, the survivors, specifically the refugees, they are more of a mind to stay and with the seeker and pretty much follow his guidance. Now, the Seeker has set up shop here in Sivesh until otherwise, directed as far as your what is it you want to accomplish with this court case, right? So, having said that, they're most likely going to stay here because they also know from your guidance and from the Seeker's guidance that if the court is presented with a united front of 45 core that have all experienced the same thing, and it's like a whole community of people that's saying, hey, this happened, we're unhappy, you need to do something about it, that is going to say a lot more than just a small sample of that society, of that culture or society, if that makes any sense. The crowd speaks louder than just a couple individuals. So they are, and I won't say necessarily happy, but they are amenable to being your staff. Granted, 45 staff is a lot of staff. That's a lot of fucking staff.
Yeah.
You will be essentially partially overstaffed. I will say that if you decide to take them all on as staff, you will have no problems as far as having being low on staff if your place should ever get popping and busy. You should break even as far as how much workforce you need. Granted, you could still easily turn a profit. But to start out, you're most likely going to incur a debt. The crew, however, of the Sutamabura, who is left, has made an oath to their captain and to their nation. But given the circumstances, the captain has released them from said oath for the time being because she doesn't view herself as a adequate leader, given what she has done. So they are kind of on the fence as to what they should do, whether they should stick around or go find other work, because they are essentially has been disowned by the Northern Dynasty, but not in all senses, but officially.
Right.
So you can also take them on as extra staff. You're going to have a surplus of staff that way, and your rates to keep staff on are going to be expensive. Or you can let them go. The risk you take by letting them go find their own work is that they have information.
Why can't we do half? Work here, then if you want to go somewhere else, you can go somewhere else.
Because they are crew members,
time.
so they end up going on a ship that disappears for months on end.
Maybe they can be a part. Some of them can be on our crew.
That's what I was going to say.
You want to hire them as crew?
You guys want to come along?
Absolutely. If that's what you want to do, somebody roll a persuasion check with advantage for me.
Oh, I'll do that.
Because all of you guys are working together to try to persuade them. And Captain Mata has given her blessing. Or Captain Yukari.
24.
24, yeah. There are 15 members of the crew here that have survived all of these ordeals. Granted, it was a skeleton crew that was on this galleon, this Sutamabura, because they didn't need a fully manned warship. It was more of a deterrent. We have a bunch of cannons. We only need 15 crew to take you down if we really want to.
Right.
So there are 15 crew members. If you, they are all willing to be part of your ship if you want to hire them.
Cool.
Granted, for my sanity, I will not be representing them on any combat maps that you have.
Sure.
Just because they will most likely oh shit, things are going down. We're going to go hide in the hold. You guys deal with it. Just because I can't do that. It's too much. Let the heroes fight.
Form them all into one little group. This is just group one.
I will work on figuring out how to do that with Tailspire. It's just difficult to do that with that thing. But yes, maybe I will do I'll figure it out. We'll but that'll be something that'll happen later.
A swarm of humans or swarm of
you have hired them to work. You have not hired them to fight. Let's just put it that way. If you paid them more, they might fight. Essentially, it is a standard rate for a sailor is depending on how well you pay them, could be 1 to 5 gold per month. So it depends on how well you want to pay them.
Yeah, and we
A 5 gold is like a good trawler that put like a good fishing boat that pulls in a lot of fish, and so they get paid
Right.
quite
We
a bit
don't really
of money.
have an income,
Right.
so maybe 1 gold.
2 gold.
Yeah, and they'll do stuff like ready the ballista, ready the
But 5 gold
cannons.
times 15 though.
Right, but it's still. I mean, we get.
It's up to you.
They may not. Or just
Do the 2
1
gold like we did before.
We
Keep the rate.
What are we paying our crew right now
2
paid them
gold.
10 gold. No, we paid them 10
Right.
gold this last month.
for a month?
Each?
We haven't been paying them at all though, have we?
No, we did on the 36th.
Was it
Our-
10 gold
our-
each?
That
Our
really?
agreement when we started was 2
Well,
gold, but you guys raised it to 10. Rose it to
I think-
10.
I don't remember
I think,
that.
I think it is because.
Granted, you can what you can do because just so you guys are aware, you can promote your previous crew members to officers, and therefore by justifying their higher pay and just make the other crew under their purview. Like you can start to
That's a
now
good idea.
assign officer
Oh yeah, like
titles to like Tilda and the other members.
Okay.
also we can just call that like a bonus for
Right.
going through shit with us.
Right.
Yeah.
So how much would you like to pay each crew? 2 gold? Okay. All right. So so that'll be 30 gold for the crew needs to be paid 30 gold on the 20th of every month. Okay? So somebody put that down somewhere.
Well, more
Wherever-
than that because of our current crew, right?
Right,
And then for our current crew,
the base
$5,
crew needs to be paid.
5 gold a month.
Yeah, the base crew needs to be paid 30 gold. And then we have Tilda,
Sybil.
Sybil. Oh my god, I forget their names.
Hilda and Sybil.
I guess it's just Tilda and Sybil, isn't it?
Yep.
Sibylla.
Who's Sybil then?
Because
Sibylla.
Sibylla is her. Where's my
I think it's Sibylla. I think it's just spelling.
Where's my phone?
And then Avery, right?
Yep.
And then do we pay? We don't pay Hurt, right?
you do not pay Hurt. Hurt just gets whatever a Scoop. Scoop just always gives Hurt all his gold. Cara Dean is dead. Lamal is dead or gone. Whatever. They're gone. Carl is gone or
whatever.
missing. Yeah, the only members you have left. The only original members you have left are Tilda and Sibylla. So Tilda,
I love
Sibylla,
how, like,
Hurt, and Captain
Carl,
Avery.
we just forgot about Carl, and we're like, wait, where's Carl?
That was so,
like a week later.
Yeah. So Avery gets paid the same as Tilda and Sibylla. He's your navigator. So he has the navigator status. You have been paying them what, 5 gold?
Yeah,
Or 10
last
gold.
month was a little odd because it was 10 because it was a
You gave them
bonus,
shore leave
but-
bonus. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
So 5 gold for Sibylla, 5 gold for Tilda, and 5 gold for Captain Avery. So that's a total of 45 gold as far as salary on the 20th
Right.
of every month.
But we only paid them at the very end of the month for the other crew, so technically their paychecks are a little bit different than.
Right. For my
So-
sanity and for the fact that shore leave is now over, and
All right.
you're going on a new expedition, it starts at the beginning of the new expedition.
All right, we'll just do everybody then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can pay
done.
45 gold now, and then you need to make a note that every 20th of the month, 45 gold needs to be paid. And they will be like, yeah, they'll do whatever you tell them to do. What I will say is that having your ship now staffed and crewed, with a full complement, you no longer have to reload your ballistas. You no longer have to reload the cannon, and you no longer have to take your actions to do to like batten down the sails and stuff like that. Your crew will do that in the midst of battle, just not being represented on the map if you give them an order to do so as a captain or a rigger. Granted, you can still use your action or some of your action economy to do it faster than they would have, to try to make it go faster or to increase the effect of these types of things, but they will essentially be like automatic stuff that's like maintaining the ship.
As the bosun, can I roll like a persuasion check or like a charisma check to get
To make them do
things
stuff
faster?
better? Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially in the midst of battle, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and we'll
Alright,
take that on a
that's gonna
case-by-case
take care.
basis, too.
Right.
Yeah,
Great,
you have
so
a
then
full
the last
complement
thing to
now.
figure out-
You're fully crewed.
Yeah.
You just have to stock the ship with food and water, which is essentially
That's what
like,
Sybil does.
she does do that. She
Didn't we give her money to do that?
You also have spells that can create food of water too, if you want it to be bland. It is very bland food, but it does help you survive. So essentially, with the use of those spells, you'll never be at a point where you'll be marooned and you guys will starve. It's not going to happen. It just won't happen. Granted, it's important to get like fruit on the ship to prevent scurvy and things like that. But that's up to you. I would say for the foreseeable expedition, 10 gold would be enough for all of the provisions you need to do for the entire ship, and you'll be fine. So if you want to spend 10 more gold to fully stock the provisions of the ship, you will be good until further notice. Like I will say probably until your next expedition or you get to your destination. If your destination does not have places you can survive, like you know how the lovely island had a bunch of food that you could like scrounge, and especially since you have a ranger in your group, you'll be fine. So if you go to the place that does have vegetation upon your destination, you'll be able to refill your stores no problem at no cost to you because you have a ranger in your group. But 10 gold will get you set for the expedition.
Okay.
Are
Are you guys good with that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm putting that down as well, and already took care of the crew's wages.
Great. Now we just have to figure out how much to give Jin to get things going.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, how much money do we have now?
We have, in total, for everything, 1,530 gold pieces in the party fund.
Oh, hey,
That's not too bad.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very good.
So here lies the rub. I'm going to make it a nice even number because this actually makes a lot of sense depending on how much staff you have, how the place needs to be constantly supplied, cleaned, like with water, food, how the horses need to be fed. It is going to cost you 100 gold per month to pay all the staff, keep it stocked, and have all the provisions you need to do, and that includes what Jin Fushi's getting paid. One inclusive, 100 gold keeps the manor and the bread and breakfast running for the foreseeable future. That is your monthly cost. Well, 100 gold is a lot of money, but it is an expensive place. You know, you're gonna need a lot of food to feed 45 plus people, and a lot of stuff. So 100 gold is what you're gonna have to pay on the 20th of every month. Granted, you have to leave a bunch of money behind for these people to get paid because you're not sure whether your profits for the first month are going to actually make 100 gold.
Should we say like 500 gold to just kind of leave behind?
That'll set you up for
Put in the old
the
bank.
next couple months.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take away 100 now, and then there we'll leave behind another 400.
Yeah, so you can like make a bread and breakfast trust fund of that is your earning capital of 500 gold. And a couple of that money is going to get spent. A couple of that is going to get spent to spruce up the place a little bit, as far as make it look more like a hotel and an inn. But that's okay. I'm calculating that on myself. You just have to worry about paying the 100 because that comes out of other things that have happened. So you'll be fine. Again, at the end of every week, you guys will roll a d20 and you'll roll a d100 to see how much money you guys have made that week. Granted, there's no way of you knowing how much you've made, so until you check in with them, I will keep a tally on my end, and then I'll let you know how it's doing.
Cool. We also, we have sending we can use as well.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have the spell slots. Look at you guys, entrepreneurs, landowners, nobles,
Lawyers.
lawyers.
Tax people.
Yeah.
Right, but as far as insurance, you guys are going to want to check out Bichem. If you wanted to ask that kind of stuff. Also, if you wanted to do any additions or work or like improve your ship at all, Bichem is the one to talk to as well. Just because she's in charge of all the shipwrights and she owns the docks. And now that you have a direct line of influence with her, you don't have to deal with the shipwrights. You can just deal with her and she'll give you a better deal. Great. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we have things set up, and then you still have your super cool deal with Shailong too, right?
Well, my deal is if once they prosper, that's my deal. I'm not getting it right now, and they're currently being, devoured by these plants. So
yeah, those damn plants.
I'm gonna cast my spell now. Woo!
Exciting.
I guess, when we're done with all this money talk,
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the 25 gold divination spell.
Oh, cool. What are you going to ask?
I'm gonna try to find out who the guy in the black hood was. Then Nakano saw on the Sunamabora right before he teleported away. I was gonna ask what the well continuum was, but I'm gonna use the spell divination when all the money talk's done.
Okay. Spell divination.
Hey, TJ,
Yes.
are you sure we're live? Because I don't see it.
Yeah. Oh, it's unlisted. Oh,
yeah.
no. Let's change that.
How long?
The entire time.
Oh no. How do I it's live, but I don't know how to make it from unlisted to it's really pissing me off.
I should be able to on my screen. Give me a second.
Mouse. It says the privacy is unlisted. Yeah, you're right. Oh wait, here we go. There we go. Now it should be public. So sorry. It's because we last did a one, but that's okay. It'll be up though. When we edit it and post it, all of it will be up. Yeah. It is recorded. Sorry about that inconvenience being an hour late on that public, but it's up now.
It's fine. No big.
That's the only time I've ever made that mistake. Okay. You want to cast divination then, you said?
Yeah. I'm just wondering if I should do it for trying to get knowledge on the Ecological Awareness Fund, or whatever it's called. The corruption of the deep, or an individual itself.
Thank you.
But gotta wait for Noel and everyone to get back.
Fourth level divination, ritual magic offering. You need to
25.
do a 25 gold worth of sacrificial offering. It is you ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity that is to occur within 7 days. So it's not, you can't just ask, what is the corruption in the deep? That is not a goal, event, or activity that is going to occur in the next 7 days. And the reply might be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So something you intend to do, or something that is going to occur within 7 days.
I'll just gotta rethink my thing now.
Should we just also, before we leave, check in with the Seeker?
Yeah,
Let him know what
probably.
we're doing.
Yeah, probably a good idea, and just the intentions of, let him know you gathered a lot of evidence and things too for the trial, and then of course checking in with the Salty Mystic as well, because
Yeah.
she has a vested interest. Nice.
We visit the old lighthouse there.
Yes, you can head over to the Saltwatch Pagoda, and just for the interest of time, you knock on the door. Hannah sees you. She lets you in. She remains in firm, intense eye contact with Macheni. She's
How
not.
is she looking at a scoop?
She's not. Her eyes don't go off of Macheni, except for every once in a while. She's kind of just looking at Macheni with intent. A scoop, she glances his way every once in a while, but it's hard to perceive. It's more of just, it's not threatening. It's more of like, it feels, it's probably unintentional. She's probably doing it just because she's nervous, or they know something that they shouldn't know, and her heart starts to beat faster, and that whole thing.
Everybody knows now in our group,
Yeah,
because we
I
saw
thought
her take the tails.
Yeah.
So
No, well, the Hannah and Henton.
But
is
you
different.
guys don't know it's
Yeah.
Henton.
Yeah.
Hannah
It's really
is
hard for me to remember what I know and what I don't
So
know.
so
And
the whole group
thing
knows that Hannah is a kitsune that can transform, and that Zushi had her tail. Only
Right.
Macheni and a Scoop know that she's also Henton Opie.
Okay.
And to confuse Macheni even more, I made Henton Opie and Hannah show up at the play at once, at the same time,
Yes,
with the flower.
because he was working with Hannah to that end, to make it look even more like they were two different people.
It's like one of those rom-coms where they have two dates in the same location.
right.
Kind of like that. So Hannah is just aware that both of you know. She's not giving you like the stink eye or the evil eye. She can't help but be aware of you. But yes, so you are led into the main area where it has those beautiful bay windows that look out into the port, where the Seeker and Zen Kulan are enjoying a spot of tea. Both sitting down in these like what looks like comfy net chairs made out of like old tied rope nets that are like turn into like these like kind of hammock chairs, and they appear to be like muttering to each other and speaking. They don't immediately notice your arrival, but eventually like you are recognized, and the Seeker nods and Zen nods. And Hannah nods, and she goes off and starts warming up another pot of tea. Yes, can I help you, my fellow friends? I would say.
Hello, we just want to let you know that we're about to head out to see, if we can figure out more about this idol and to destroy it. And we just want to let you know of all the things that we just did. Explanation. So,
You tell them like everything. Okay.
Yeah, tell them about the plans with the refugees and how we've staffed them and how we have that, and then how there's like testimonies with Toman.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. No, the Seeker will respond. That is a good. I believe that is amenable and a good course of action for the time being. It is important to keep them in a place where they feel safe and they are contained, should powers that be wish to eliminate a threat before it becomes one. And I believe having them be employed under a house of nobility does, therefore, if I'm not incorrect, as he gestures to Zen, and Zen nods, grant them some sort of protection from the Zushi himself. So, I do agree with this course of action, and you intend to find out more about what this item is. I would be careful if I were you, but I assure you already know that.
Yeah.
The Watcher and I have been catching up on quite a bit of information. It appears that you have had your fingers in quite a few pots. But on most occasions, to the benefit of all that are involved.
We do our best.
So, I do not say this lightly, but I believe that I am beginning to trust you. It is the fate of our people and our culture that I am beginning to put into your hands. And I believe that you have, at the very least, good intentions. And I give you my utmost thanks for allowing them safe harbor.
We appreciate your trust.
As I appreciate all that you have done, and will undoubtedly continue to do. That being said, I wish to share some information with you, should you ever gain the arcane knowledge to do so. And Tamarin, he stands up, appears to reach into his hair and pull out almost like a tuft of hair that's like a long lock of hair that then changes into a very old rolled up scroll. And he hands it over to you. This will allow you to instantly transport yourself and a number of individuals to locations that have been predetermined and enchanted with such teleportation magic. Should you find yourself in dire straits, or choose to study this information to give yourself such an ability in the future, I trust you'll use it for the best intentions in the worst situations.
Wow. Thank you. That's huge.
And he gives you a scroll of teleportation circle. Essentially, it also has inscribed on the back of this scroll, it did include an additional circle should you choose a different destination. You know of one teleportation circle. That is one that is engraved upon the hold of the Sutamabora. That is a mobile teleportation circle. On the information on the back of this scroll is of another teleportation circle. This teleportation circle, he tells you, is of the in a city. Pardon me. In the here we go. In the Southern Dynasty. This is he lets you know a teleportation circle to the town/city of Olongoma. Or I'm not pronouncing it correctly. It's Olongoma. Yeah. OLANGOHMAH. Olongoma. Olongoma is a far more inland city/town/village, just sect of civilization, location of civilization that is central in the central southern dynasty. That he says as a refuge for a lot of the core peoples and some of the more Aboriginal native peoples. It has a hub for their culture as well as, but all are welcome. And that has a bunch of other races that have been spread among the dynasties as well. It is a bustling, not metropolitan area, but it is a bustling trading post. Given that it is so central to the Southern Dynasty, the only more city that is more to trade that is not on the ocean. Well, Chaobun is obviously the southern capital, so that is the most bustling metropolitan area. However, Olongama has, if I had to say, more political leanings toward those sympathetic to the plight of the core, because they don't have to be officially affiliated with supporting whatever said dynasty. The Southern Dynasty has pretty much given them a very, 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 very long leash, and has no intent in shortening that leash.
This is a very generous gift. We of course won't use it lightly.
I appreciate you saying that, but also, should you need to, do not hesitate. I will send message that if a group of adventurers such as yourself would show up unexpectedly to, at the very least, not harm you, give you a welcome. You do have to understand that strangers, we do not trust lightly, so strangers, it's going to take us a while. You will be dealing with people that I have not spoken to in a very, very, very long time. But you will be safe, and you will be taken care of, at the very least. Or you will at least be given faculties to take care of yourself. The Watcher and I will remain here to oversee our people. And we wish you the very best. Is there anything else that we can help you with?
Not at this time, but of course we'll reach out to you via sending if we need your help or advice.
Of course, I am at...
Or just to chat and check up.
I am literally at your beck and call should you have the arcane wherewithal.
And we are as well.
Wonderful. I will keep you apprised of the goings-on here should it find it necessary.
Thank you.
I have one last request from you.
Of course.
Should Fruit Lovewood or what's her name?
Sorry, Luffy.
Zori Lotfi, you cross the paths with any of these individuals or learn of any information as to where they have gone, I would appreciate being kept in the loop.
Hey.
Of course.
And you see Zen go like, as would I. There is not much that escapes my gaze, but they appear to be rather shrewd individuals.
Yeah. Also, if you guys get any information, you let us know. We can try to be bounty hunters for a week or so.
Of course, likewise. Well, if nothing else, could I offer you some tea? Oh, that is so rude of me. This is not my establishment. And he looks at the Watcher and she's like, it's fine.
That would be lovely before a long journey.
And you guys all get this
One more
beautiful
cup of tea.
oolong tea. Hannah hands it to each of you. When he hands it to Mashani in a scoop, you get a squeeze in the hand that's a little stronger than she probably intended. You get the sense that Zen... actually, both of you roll insight checks. 1. Oh, no.
Well, it was a nat 1, but yeah.
I got an 18.
18. Scoop, you get the sense that Zen Kudalon, and by this point, probably the Seeker too, is very well aware of all of the faces of which that Hannah wears. But you two are probably the only other two in this city that know every single one of the faces that she wears. And you imagine that though you knowing isn't by design, this whole facade has been by design. For Hannah to keep better tabs on what is going on in the inner circle. Whether you think that's necessary now is an entirely different thing.
Can I do sending to Ruth? No, sorry, Lotfi. Did the same thing I did to Fruithful Moon, which is pretty much say nothing, or like kind of like say nothing, but it still goes through.
You want to try to pull those shenanigans again? Is what you're going to try to? Is what you're saying?
If you like pretended you were like Zari Lotfi and be like, I can't. Where are you? I can't find you.
What?
I'm like, you could
Pretend to be
pretend your
Zari
voice
Lotfi?
is someone else's. Like you could try to change your voice.
Respond with any kind of information.
Let me.
I thought in the spell it says they know who it's sending to.
Oh, hold on, that's the wrong one.
Yeah. Recognizes you are the sender. If it knows you.
Yeah, if they know you, they recognize you as the sender.
So changing my voice doesn't matter.
I mean, you can try. You can certainly try.
No.
So you're not going to put a sending?
No, I'm not gonna change my voice. I'm just gonna send.
Okay, what sound, what thing? Because it's like it's not like you pick up the phone after it's ringing. It's like something has to initiate, some sort of like has to initiate the thing. So you have to make a sound or do something, a cough, something.
Do a hum.
Okay, what would you? You just hear in your head out of nowhere. Sure. You cast a spell. What's your hum? You just hello? What was that? Who's there? I do not like these games. Show yourself. Rian, you're going crazy.
Comes over.
Wait, did you send to Zari or to Fruth?
Zari Lotfi.
Sorry.
Okay.
Rayon?
That's one of my favorite fabrics.
Yeah, if you want. Granted, you wouldn't know this, but just for your note taking, Rayon is Reyhan. Great.
Okay.
Anything else? Or you set up to depart?
Don't we gotta do court? Or is that gonna take a little bit longer?
Do what?
Don't we gotta
Do what?
go to court?
No, that's going to be a
That
little
is
bit
in
later,
among
right?
months, probably months from now. Remember, the court, you've been setting up to prepare for court. You still need more support. If you go in with what you have now, you'll be laughed out of court. You need more. You need like people empowered to support you. This is a long game. You guys don't even have a court date. And as soon as you put in the petition or the application to try to get a date, you're essentially putting a target on the backs of you, the Seeker, the Watcher, and all of the survivors of social injustice. So you guys have kind of kept it on the DL now until you could possibly get someone who, one, could fast track the process, is a lawyer, and a bunch of other support.
Okay.
And that only is going to happen in Namung.
Maybe I can kill people standing now.
Sending cannot cause damage. Period.
Yeah, we'll see.
What? You make them think that they're insane by hearing voices in their head or something.
Yeah.
4 sendings a day to the same person.
Oh my
you
God.
can really annoy somebody. You could probably maybe if you're good at it, maybe think that they're going insane. If they don't know you.
All right. Sorry. Yeah, let's head. Let's depart.
Okay, what are you guys doing? You guys headed out? What's happening?
I can't think of any other preparations that we need to make, right? Anybody else?
The only thing I think of is if you wanted to do any insurance with Bicam at all.
I don't want to talk to Wickham.
I mean, we have all the books. I mean, I do have to return the books, but so we kind of have to say hi anyway. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Tammy. Okay. Do you want to stay home so you don't have to see her? Or...
That's all right. I'll come. That's fine.
Okay. All right. At least we're not doing tea with her. We can say we've had tea this afternoon. We can't do another tea. That would be improper, if I'm remembering Raisin's teachings correctly about
Pebbles.
being an...
No, Raisin. Well, yeah, both actually. Yeah, Pebble and Raisin. Yeah, you're right. Pebble did that the first time. Okay, great. So you head over to Raisin's estate, and the guys there. Yeah. And they just lean back into the darkness of the door and disappear. And you guys walk in. You make your way up into her sitting room, and she's like, "Oh, wonderful! You're just in time for afternoon tea. I have this wonderful new saffron concoction that I received earlier this week, and I just was dying to get you to try it. Please sit down. Oh, and I should also mention that I am in the process of constructing cargo ships to transport your survivors of cultural injustice, should that come about in the recent months or weeks. At no cost to you, I consider it a tax write-off, and out of the wonderful warmth of my heart.
Thank you, I think.
Thank you.
It's very nice, I think.
You have been studying these books then too, and I just drop all the books onto the table for 15 or so.
That's quite a lot of paper. It's quite heavy. Yes, leather and paper. Yes, I do love the smell. They do remind me of my late husband. Oh, but let's just not dwell on the past. Yes, so I am in the process of arranging an escort for your survivors of cultural injustice. Should that trek engage in any time soon,
Thank you.
Yes, of course. I do am paying out of my own pocket, but I am glad to do these services for you. They're also tax deductible, you see. So it's very, very, it actually saves me money. Not only that, but I am in the process of hiring some individuals from the Red Lion Syndicate to escort them. So I believe that should be adequate protection. Yes. I'm sorry. Was that?
No.
Is that?
We have some
not amenable.
Some personal disputes. No, that's fine. Sorry, I just have personal disputes with Red Lion Syndicate.
Well, I could seek for a different mercenary group if you would prefer. They're just the ones most readily available.
Yeah, that's okay.
You seem concerned. And she waves. She's like, yes. He's like, yes, Mom. Do make sure that we put all of those that we hired for protectional duties through rigorous screening. We do not want those who have proclivities to just coin. You understand? Yes? Well, don't stay there. Do that thing where you lean back and go away.
Oh, my God.
He's like, yes, Mom. And he just disappears.
You calling her Mom?
Ma'am. Mum. It's the British way of saying ma'am.
Yeah. I just thought it would be funny if that was her son.
I mean, he could be. Oh, could he? I don't remember.
You would know that.
Well, it's seen a lot of traffic, if you know what I mean, so I'm not quite sure.
Just popping them out left and right, huh?
Yeah, I suppose. You know, I prefer not to discuss this.
I thought you'd want to. Well, I thought you'd want to talk to us about how things are
Bring
going.
the brandy.
Oh yeah.
If we're going to discuss this, we need brandy.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else I could do for you?
Yeah, so we were wondering about we're starting a new business, the bread and breakfast. We were wondering if you or anybody here offers insurance.
Oh, are you looking for business insurance, life insurance, malady insurance?
I think like property insurance, right?
Oh, yes. Homeowners insurance.
Business. Yeah, or business
property
insurance, I guess, is probably what we're looking for.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I could absolutely have the petition sent to the Modomo one of the Modomo's people to have this issued. Well, it had to be. What is it signed by the Zushi? It's almost 100% assured to be insured by the tax. Seeing you as you are technically nobility, your estate is already insured, but it does need to be business insured. So as long as I sent a petition to the Modomo signed by the Zushi, I should have no problem getting that accepted. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it should be okay as long as we just clearly state only what it is and not get to too many details about who is there, right?
Yeah. Just a bed and breakfast is all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. I love how ambiguous we are being with our clandestine operations.
Yes.
I feel like a regular spy. Ooh, I've always wanted to be an incognito.
Well, thank you for doing that. Well, look at the time. It's getting late.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have to get going on the seas.
Of course. You adventurous, and the sea does call to you and sing its siren song. Yes, my late husband was not immune to such a wonderful song. Well,
thanks for the tea.
You're welcome. Oh, and do take this with you. And she hands you this very old, bottle of brandy. It's probably over a 50-year-old bottle of brandy. Save it for a good occasion. Yes,
all
and
right.
do drink it. Do remember that you have a friend. And bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
You're very welcome. Safe travels and toodaloo.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
You guys leave. It's like, pardon me, I'll say like midday on the 20th. You guys want to like, you can guys either head out today or you can wait till tomorrow. It's up to you.
What do you
I'm
all
ready to
think?
go.
Yeah, especially since we have a full crew now. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're ready to get going.
Yeah, I'm ready to set
Yeah.
sail, as it were.
Okay, you guys head over to the Pambringer and you hear hooting and hollering going on the deck as you approach the pier, as you walk down the pier towards the ship. You hear, batten down the hatches, make sure that the sails are properly secured, and you batten down the hatches, make sure the sails are properly secured. You guys eventually make it back onto the ship, and you see Avery like giving the crew like, it's good to have a full crew again. Hey, and he's giving a bunch of orders, and you see pretty much after everything, very like Captain Jack Sparrow and Barbosa like back and forth about it was like eventually him giving orders and her saying the exact order right afterward, and he walks up, he's like, what are you doing, little one? And he's like, I'm being the captain, and he's like, hey, that's right, you are. And he like looks at her with a twinkle in his eye, and she looks back at him with a smile and a twinkle in her eye, and she's like, and they're like, we got this. We have this. We're real captains. And they're like, they're growing on each other.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's eventually one point where Captain Avery goes like, and then Hurt cuts him off immediately and says, make sure we have the port sail set to a 45-degree tack. And he's like, and she like looks behind. She's like, she's like, get the hang of it. She like knows what she's doing now. No, she's still an amateur, but she's like know what she's doing, and he's just there for support. Yeah, you guys have a full crew. It's bustling about. You go on and you get like shoulder checked by a couple people who are like, sorry, that try to like, you know, swapping the decks and doing a bunch of other stuff and getting the sails ready. The ship is in great condition. It is beautiful. It's waxed. It's got full health. They even have they got rid of the old Red Line Syndicate bow piece, like the bowsprit piece, and it is now just the head of
Hag's
like
head?
a sea dragon.
Okay.
Did you want it to be a hag's head?
Oh, I said baguette.
Oh, no. It's the head of a sea dragon. However, the railings on either side of the starboard and the port side do appear to have like slits in them, as though like you cut baguette's breads in order for it to rise better. So they kind of like they harken back to the whole bread aesthetic. Now appears like the Bichem had a bunch of additions, being like, ooh, just a little bit things, just to make the aesthetic things change. To make it feel more homey. It feels kind of crowded on here. It's weird. You never had this many people on the ship before, except for temporarily, and everybody's moving around. Like you have a full complement now, and the ship is running at full tilt. Everybody's getting ready. You guys are good. You see, there's even now a. You see the people there's two individuals by the cannon, two of the crew members that are running drills of how to like load the cannon really, really fast. You see one of them has like burns on his shoulder as though the can went off at some point and it was like a misfire, and he like learned from it. And a lot of them have like powder on their face and like charcoal stains, and they appear to be
expensive.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's more like charcoal than anything. They are your new powder monkeys, Scoop, and they will be at your beck and call. Should you essentially, as long as these two are alive, it's a woman and a man, and the woman is doing all the heavy lifting as far as like putting the ball into the cannon. You will not have to spend any action economy in order to load the cannon. All you will have to do is use your action to fire the cannon, and that'll be it.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
The same thing with you see people running, other people running drills with the ballistas. No, there is no necessary action economy needed to load the arrow into the ballista. Now, all you have to do is use your action to fire it, as it now is fully manned.
Woohoo!
We just scream, say fire.
You can tell them to fire it instead, and one of the crew members, if available, will fire it, but they will be using their dexterity modifier to fire it and not yours.
Hey.
You have heroic
take
stats. They
over?
are just regular crew. You can absolutely take over. Yeah, that's the whole point. You can man the ballista and use your action to fire it, and you'll use your stats to fire it. You can tell them to do it. It just won't be as accurate, of course.
Right.
Great. With that set, you see everyone gets ready. Navigator gets behind the wheel, like like a good 10, 15 feet behind the wheel near the navigation table, and starts and Avery with his new he has one arm that's kind of like Piscine now and like kind of squiddy and octopusy, but the other arm has just regressed, and he has his one peg leg and his one leg, and so he's using one arm and his teeth to put the sextant up and draw things. So we're heading to the Bargacan Archipelago. Any specific location near the Bargacan Archipelago that I should be aware of, or we head to the north side, south side, east side, west side?
I think we don't really know exactly where we're going there, so I think maybe we just head directly at it.
Great. So northeast and on till morning.
I suppose so.
Wonderful.
Until we see land.
I love a good mystery, especially if it means we could starve and die of thirst.
No, we won't be doing that. We're fine.
Where's the danger in that?
I mean, we can pretend.
Hey, we could pretend. That might be fun.
I think there's plenty of danger without the danger of starving.
And it hurts like, yeah, there is. Yeah. Great. Without further ado, you guys can lift anchor and set sail, if that's what you'd like to do. Is there any last words or anything you'd like to say as you set sail?
Just wave our handkerchiefs.
Bye, Hannah!
You wave your handkerchiefs at the pier as a couple of the people from your manor have come to say goodbye, as well as Jinfushi and the Watcher and the Seeker and Bicam, and a couple of your staff. Pebbles is there, and he waves goodbye. And as your handkerchiefs leave these fleeting shadows in the noonday sun, you sail off into the bay off into the horizon to adventures unknown, and that's where we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a little bit, guys, for our next episode. Stay tuned. Bye.